I am thrilled to announce the publication of my surprise third book, The Unnatural History of Man-Eating Plants. As far as I'm aware, this is the first book dedicated solely to the history of this oft-forgotten Fortean subject that was a staple of news media and fiction during the late 19th and early 20th centuries. I dug up many accounts of which you've probably never heard, and uncovered buried details about the better-known tales, such as the true background of the Madagascar man-eating tree, that might surprise you. It's all presented as a travelogue, exploring these fantastic and frightful floral predators on each continent. This mammoth-sized tome also includes a hand-picked selection of man-eating plant short fiction of the day, as they are inseparable from the news accounts when delving into this fascinating topic. The Unnatural History of Man-Eating Plants is now available on Amazon in paperback and ebook, and today I'm going to read you the intro for the book so you get a feel for what it's all about. Stay tuned. An introduction to carnivorous and man-killing plants. When an animal bites a plant, that is hardly news. Animals are doing that all the time. Cows and caterpillars, mice and men, they'd die very soon if they didn't. But when a plant bites an animal, there might be an interesting story in it. That's a quote from Dr. Frank Thone. The plant kingdom finds itself situated at the very bottom of the planetary food chain. Silently, Earth's flora subsists, providing sweet nectar for butterflies and bees, filling the air with the oxygen that life requires, and resigned to consumption by everything from nibbling bunnies to humans taking full advantage of an open salad bar. But what if plants turned the tables and decided to make a meal out of us? If you happen to be a common housefly, carnivorous plants are a going concern. A number of plant species have developed into stealthy predators, blending into the unassuming greenery and utilizing their charms to lure in hapless victims. The Venus flytrap clamps down on prey attracted to the sweet nectar within its traps. When a victim grazes trigger hairs on the inner surface, the trap closes around them, looking very much like a savage mouth lined with sharp teeth. Digestive liquid then fills the trap, drowning the occupant as they become lunch. Venus flytraps are endemic only to humid, boggy areas along a small coastal region of the Carolinas, within a 75-mile radius of Wilmington. The Venus flytrap resides within the Carolina Bays, shallow, rounded depressions that were once hypothesized to have been created by meteorite or comet impacts. This connection led some to imagine an extraterrestrial origin for this carnivorous plant, much like the mean green mother from outer space from Little Shop of Horrors. The mostly aquatic species of bladderwort possesses a very different sort of trap resembling an airtight balloon. When prey touches the feather-like trigger on the trap's outer wall, a secret hatch swings open, creating a vacuum that pulls in the victim and bathes them in digestive enzymes. The leaves of the sundew are coated with sticky aromatic goo that insects cannot resist. They land, become mired, and face the horror of tentacles that wind around their bodies to dissolve and ingest them. Biblis, suggested author and carnivorous plant enthusiast Randall Schwartz, might have given rise to those rumors about man-eating plants. Native to Western Australia, this relative of the sundew resembles a leafless shrub that stands about 2 feet tall and has been known to trap and absorb insects, lizards, and frogs, possibly even rabbits and squirrels, that become stuck on its sticky branches. Drosophilum, meanwhile, functions like living flypaper, continually squirting sticky ooze onto insects until they become bogged down and sucked dry by sessile glands lining each leaf. Butterwort, wrote Schwartz, contains an antibiotic in its digestive fluid that has been used as a traditional healing ointment for humans and animals. It is not so beneficial for the tiny bugs it captures, though, rolling up its leaves to form a shallow cup in which to digest them in the same fluid. Pitcher plants are found throughout the world and in various sizes and shapes. One California variety, the cobra plant, resembles the hooded serpent, complete with leaves that evoke fangs or a forked tongue. Pitcher plants capture prey from insects up to, reportedly, giant rats. Pitcher traps look exactly like their namesake, vessels filled not with iced tea, but prey-dissolving fluid. It's a diabolical design, each pitcher structured like a maze with no exit, spikes and slippery surfaces forcing prey further and further downward to their doom. Charles Darwin published Insectivorous Plants in 1875, drawing attention to species such as the sundew and Venus flytrap, and describing his attempts to understand their natural mechanisms. Darwin, who conducted experiments on the plants over a 16-year period, would later remark, "The fact that a plant should secrete, when properly excited, a fluid containing an acid and ferment closely analogous to the digestive fluid of an animal was certainly a remarkable discovery." As fearsome as this all sounds, these are but tiny monsters. However, nature did allow these plants to develop adaptations for supplementing their diet with living creatures. Fossil evidence of extinct prehistoric carnivorous plants is scarce, and any potential specimens were likely comparable in size to today's species. It's only natural to wonder, though, in the deep recesses of our imaginations, if the same evolutionary twist could have allowed for a much larger predatory plant, capable of devouring more sizable prey. Public fascination with the possibility of carnivorous plants able to consume a human being emerged around the same time as Darwin's efforts to describe their insect-eating cousins, as evidenced by the first known newspaper report of a man-eating plant in 1874. As an aside, the Venus flytrap, arguably the most animalistic of the insectivorous plants, was first recorded by North Carolina colonial governor Arthur Dobbs in 1759. Man-eating and killing plants are mostly recognized today from popular fiction. Moviegoers in 1963 were thrilled by the plant monster invasion film The Day of the Triffids, based on the 1951 novel by John Wyndham. Audrey II, the star of Little Shop of Horrors, originally Roger Corman's 1960 B-movie, but most pertinently the 1986 musical film, was a giant singing Venus flytrap who represented the perils of greed and fame. The piranha plant from Super Mario Bros. Taught gamers to exercise caution around suspicious sore pipes. Harry Potter's Whomping Willow instinctively twisted its branches to attack all interlopers in its territory. But there was a time when deadly plants capable of aggressively capturing, consuming, and/or strangling a person were a prominent danger featured not just in popular adventure and horror fiction, but in news articles contending to present true horrors in unexplored realms. I've presented the following catalog of man-eating plants as a travelogue, examining the strange flora once thought to reside within the uncultivated frontiers of the globe. We will focus on the tales presented in newspapers and other sources as fact, however unbelievable they might seem to modern, or even contemporary, eyes. There was also no shortage of fiction during this era, centered on carnivorous or otherwise aggressively deadly plants, and by fiction, I mean published without any haze of being anything other than entertainment. I've included a curated selection of 20 short stories about these dastardly and mysterious vegetables that were published between 1883 and 1933. Keep in mind as you read this book that we're dealing with lurid newspaper accounts, fiction, and even scientific publications from the 18th, 19th, and early 20th centuries. There are ample examples of racial and cultural insensitivity, especially as it comes to the native inhabitants of less developed nations. I will present the original texts unvarnished, so please remember the historical context as you read these stories. They are a product of their time. I have also mostly retained the authentic text of the articles, including outdated or slightly misspelled scientific names and such. Now, let's put on our pith helmets, khakis, and hiking boots as we set off on a journey to the locale where news accounts of man-eating trees first emerged, the dense and humid rainforests of Madagascar off the eastern African coast. And there you have it. That's the intro to my new book, The Unnatural History of Man-Eating Plants. It's available on Amazon. Link is in the description. Thank you all, and stay strange.